Hi, Maria Chongos. Hi, everybody. I'm going live today, and I want you all to share this video. Please share the video. I'm going to get off for a little bit because I'm going to share it myself. But, and I'm back. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to wait a little bit. This is one of my powwows. I'm going to complain sessions. And I do want to let you all know there is so much hate in this world, and you always have to be watching what's going on around you. Hi, everybody. Don't forget to hit tap. And I do want to touch bases with everybody about this is November, and we're getting close to Thanksgiving, and how people in South Texas participate in the hate. Hi, Patty Segovia. And they have glass houses and then they start throwing stones. But I want to bring awareness of what happened today at uh, here in Raymondville. Something happened here that left me totally shocked. And a lot of times we don't want to believe that there's so much evil. Sometimes you don't even know who the snakes are, Maria Chongos. It's like, it's amazing. It amazes me. It amazes me. Hi, Pam Blackburn. Isabel, María Isabel, ¿cómo estás? Of course not. Of course not, Maria Chongos. But I do want to let you all know that I was saying how awesome it had been that RJ shared with us from whatever somebody had given her yesterday, and she shared with Ophelia, and then Ophelia shared with me. But I got 33 people here already. And I don't know if I need to wait for 50 people, but I am going to let you all know that something kind of serious happened today, and it put me in a shock mode because of how it was done. Hi, Annette. If any haters come in here, I want to let my moderators know if you're here, just X them out, please. I don't need them here. Bad mouthing anything. Yesterday, I was telling everybody how I was, and I thanked RJ for what she did because we don't know. Thanks, Linda, for being here. We don't know the need that everybody has or why they would do things. Okay? And I haven't done this in a long time. And, I don't know. Me and my little sister decided today that we were going to go early in the morning because we already know how congested food banks and food drives get in Willacy County. People go and get in line from like 2 in the morning. So, hi, Esther. So, my little sister had called me up. Thanks, Maria Chongos. My little sister had called me up. If you want to pin Goyo's Cash App up, it's GVela86. There's a reason why I'm doing this because I want to let you all know that because we already know how people are in Willacy County, we went to get in line like everybody else. By the time me and my little sister, and I'm not going to mention anybody's names, By the time me and my little sister got to a park that's straight up the street from my house, a few blocks, like not even 10 blocks away from my house. Okay, the line at the park. Let's say that the park is like this, and here's where they have the basketball courts and everything. The line started here, had already started here, and had gone all the way around. And we were right here on this side of the park by 7:30 in the morning. And then the line kept going longer, so they were zigzagging the line through the neighborhood streets, okay? But when me and my little sister got there, we were right here on this side of the park at 7:30. So the line was already cars, one behind the other, one behind the other, all the way over here. The food bank truck had not gotten there. It wasn't going to get there until it didn't get there till like 9. And they were not going to start this food drive till 10 in the morning. So Ophelia got off of the car. She went to get a Red Bull, walked to HEB because it's over there on that side. She walked to HEB. She came back with her Red Bull. Hi, Yaya. And Ophelia walked away from the car and walked to where the volunteers were. So I followed her, and I went and sat on one of the tables. And I was sitting there watching my little sister talking to a man that was one of the volunteers there. And I started playing one of my games, and I was playing and playing and playing. And I'm like, man, they've been talking for a long time. He was talking with Ophelia, shooting the breeze like nothing. Then I was sitting at the table, and another volunteer came, and she sat at the table across the table from me, and she was talking with me, and I was talking with her. Then Ophelia moved to talk with both of us. When we were sitting there, the lady said, hey, there's somebody in a white van, and she keeps taking pictures, or she's taking a video this way. And she's making it, she or he, I don't know, because I couldn't see that far, but she's making it look like she's not doing it, but she is. So by around 10 o'clock, the line started moving, so we had to go to the car. Ophelia had been talking to these volunteers, peacefully talking with them, shooting the breeze with them. Yeah, because by nature, we are social people. We will sit there and talk about a lot of different things. In Willacy County, you can talk about a lot of stuff. Why they didn't plant as many fields of sugar cane this year. How I didn't see that many fields of cotton this year. And I saw very few fields of sorghum this year. You know, you can talk about a lot of different things, including the 10, 15 onions that they planted. But we went back to the car, and the line starts moving. And the line starts moving, and by the time we got around the first curve, our brother joined the club, so he got into our car. And there was other people that were coming and getting into the other cars. They had not originally been there in line, but somebody in their family had been in line, and then they got called, hey, the line is moving, so they came back to the park, because, I mean, nobody likes to be there in 3 or 4 hours in the line. But me and Ophelia did, because we wanted to see what was going on, and we hadn't done it in a long time. So then we get around the corner, and we're in the... Okay, back to the little box. So we started right here, and we were up over here, and our brother gets in the car. And then the line is still moving. So, slowly, slowly it starts moving this way. Well, when we were somewhere over here, our other sister got called. She should have been called maybe over here, but she got called when we were on this side. So she heads over to the park and she parks her car somewhere else and then just gets into our little group when we were already off of the car. Well, they had a person in a handicap little. Ophelia's not here, but I'm sure she's probably in the sidelines over there and from her house. But they had a person that was on a little wheelchair or something. And they had parked like in front of that basketball court or whatever that, what is it called? They had already parked like 10 cars and our car was one of them. So everybody had to show proof of residency in order to qualify for them to give you a pantry package, whatever the pantry package that they were giving. And they were giving grapes, watermelons, pears, and a few other items, dried cherries, pecans, a can of black beans, and a can of spaghetti sauce, and a can of tomato sauce, and a pound of beans, and a pound of white beans, pinto beans and white beans in the pantry package that they were giving. So, and then they gave some loaves of bread. But the whole point is that by the time Ophelia got to the table where she had to give her ID so that they could write her name, somebody had already called the food pantry bank, wherever it's at. And I don't even know where that food pantry in Willacy County is at. But they had called somebody in that office and told that person that Ophelia was disrupting the whole order of whatever they were doing there, which was a blatant lie. And the lady came specifically to tell Ophelia that she was not entitled to get anything from the food bank because she was disrupting their order. And it has taken me since this afternoon, all these hours, to actually say, you know what? These motherfuckers are, I'm going to just go out and put it out there. She was not disrupting anything. They had talked to her for more than an hour when the line wasn't moving. And by the time we went all the way around, somebody in the office had been called by one of the haters that Ophelia was at the line disrupting the line. How can you disrupt the line if you're in your own damn car? They will stoop to even lower than that. And after all that happened, they didn't give Ophelia no food pantry, but they gave my other sister and me and my brother food pantry stuff. So, thank you very much. We still got our stuff and, we can still share from our stuff with Ophelia. But the whole point is that somebody was there. Ophelia could have been shot. They didn't have no security there. They didn't have no police officers there watching. And somebody was videotaping Ophelia at that food drive. And me. While we were talking to the volunteers. And I wasn't moving from the table, so I wasn't disrupting anything that they could have been doing. The man was sitting at a table on the other side and stuff. But for them to call an office and say that Ophelia was disrupting the orderly fashion of their food drive, and somebody come to actually, she got there just when Ophelia was handing the man her driver's license and her light bill so that he could see that she was from Raymondville, because they wanted proof that you were from Raymondville in order to get a food drive package. They were not giving any kind of meat products or anything like that there. It was mostly fruits and avocados, vegetables, and 2 or 3 cans and a pound of white beans and a pound of pinto beans. But the whole thing is that somebody called that office and they came and specifically told Ophelia that she was not going to be given anything. And that's fine because all the other 3 of us got stuff and we are going to share with Ophelia. But what made me come on here is the fact that we had not gone on a food drive in Willacy County and I don't know how long. The line was so big and they still had leftover stuff to the point of where they even announced it on Facebook and took pictures of all the boxes that were left over and sent to Lyford, and they posted it on Facebook. If you want some of the leftover stuff from Raymondville, bring your own bag to the Lyford office. But they didn't give Ophelia anything because, according to that lady, she was called and told that Ophelia was disrupting something there, which I don't know what it was because Ophelia, all she did was get off of the car after the line started rolling and get in line and show the man her light bill and her driver's license. But, well, you all know how la doña is. When they pissed her off, of course, los mandó a chingar a 20. Y al que estaba diciendo, al que estaba allá enfrente, sí le dijo, chingas a la puta que te parió. Why wouldn't she be able to tell him that when she was, in a line, being peaceful, following the traffic rules that they had, even though the line was going in the opposite direction of the park. And somebody was videotaping her and calling people's offices. And it, Ophelia hasn't been on social media. Ophelia's not going to get on social media. She's been on the sidelines a couple of shows here because nobody put Ophelia on a gag order. But Ophelia's life, every time she steps out of her house in this county, is at risk. And I'm not to say, hey, motherfuckers, the police department ain't doing nothing to protect my sister anywhere in Willacy County. And it's like, I don't know how much the stuff was worth. They gave us like 4 little bags of grapes and, 2 bags of pears and 2 bags of apples. But the apples weren't even as nice as the ones that La Sara got. It's like, really? And then for them to actually post on Facebook the boxes and boxes that they had left over and put, bring your own bag, come to Lyford and pick up the stuff that was left over from the food bank in Raymondville. That means that they didn't get that many people. And a lot of the people that were there were talking about, oh, they're not giving any meat or meat products because they're waiting until the next food drive before Thanksgiving so that they can give the vouchers. But do you all honestly think that me and Ophelia are going to go and stand on another line in Willacy County that people get on that line and park their cars? Because a lot of people parked their cars and left. They knew that they weren't going to start that food drive until 10. Yes, it's a shame, Bridget, because right now the whole country is stressing because they're not getting SNAP benefits. And I'm not here to say that me and Ophelia get that SNAP benefits. We don't. We don't ask the government for anything. But this is a food drive that was issued out for all the residents of Willacy County. They weren't giving tortillas or nothing or meat or nothing, so it's not, if they would have probably gave bags of potatoes, I would have said that they gave something that I actually would be interested in, but the apples, I'm 61, they're hard. You know, the watermelon might be good. I don't know. I haven't cut into any of them. But I'm just saying, the audacity of these people to even post. We had a lot of food left over from the drive in Raymondville, and it's in the Lyford office right now. If you want some, you just can come over here with your own bags and take it. But Ophelia was not given anything because somebody in that line lied. And of course, once they started with Ophelia, when she was in the line already showing stuff, Ophelia said a few choice words, but they deserved them. They were well deserved choice words. And I'm not, here to cover up for anything that happened during that drive. I'm just saying that it's a shame that as a country we're going through a lot of shit. And in this community, there is a lot of shit to cover up. Now, I'm not mentioning anybody's names, but yes, it was because it was Ophelia. By the time that 300 of Ophelia's went around that big park, because it's not a little park, it's like maybe 4 to 6 blocks. I want to say maybe 6 blocks. It's the manzana, it's like 6 blocks to go around it. So, I mean, it is a big area. So by the time the car was going to go around, this person had started filming Ophelia at 8 in the morning when Ophelia was having a conversation with somebody at a table. And we don't know. I don't know if it was a man or a lady, but I know that it was in a white van, and they kept filming and taking pictures of Ophelia. So by the time we went around, they actually called the food bank office because the person that came was a woman, and she was not somebody that had been there or that I had seen in the volunteer section. She said she came from the office because they were called. Thanks, Annette. I want to thank Cynthia too for yesterday. But I mean, I'm just here to tell you all, Ophelia had not gone on a food drive, I want to say, in 2 years because of the shitty ways that they have in this county. And then for them, hi Cynthia, thanks a lot. And then for them to pull that crap on her and actually not give her anything. And Ophelia's like saying the Mexican sayings. Ophelia's like, oh, por eso dicen los dichos. Uno está correteando la liebre y el otro sin correr la pesca. Oh, well, not only that. I mean, the lady came and specifically told her, we got a call, Norma. But my whole thing is, this is how the hate goes, and that's how it never ends. It's like, really? You all are on the same line as Ophelia was, and you're videotaping Ophelia and me for being in a food line that was available to everybody in Willacy County. They were not asking you how much money you earned. They were not asking you for your W-2 form. It was available for everybody in Willacy County. The only thing that was required was that you had to prove your address, because it was only one food package per household. And we all live in Willacy County in different houses. So we all were entitled to be at that food drive like everybody else. But the only person that was being ratted on or lied about was Ophelia. And Ophelia was being calm about it because Ophelia could have gone off on all of them the way they were behaving. They're supposed to volunteer. It's not their food. It's not their store. They're not making any profit out of it. They're volunteering their time or getting paid to be there. I'm not sure which one it was. But because of the hate, I'm not sure if anybody can locate it. I don't know it. I don't even know where they have their office. But I'm pretty sure it might be in that one building that's between Lyford and Raymondville. I'm not sure. Yes, Annette, they don't like that Ophelia's aura attracts attention. But it was something that was being given to every Willacy County resident. As long as they went there with their water bill, light bill, or driver's license showing their address, they were going to be given a food pantry package that came from the warehouses or wherever it came from, probably from the, what is it, the FDA's or whatever it is, FDA, the food banks that the United States provides. But Ofelia was not being disruptive until the end. Ofelia los mandó a chingar su madre. So when we got back, I did tell Ofelia, you need to call the RPD and you need to report this and make sure that it gets reported, because these people tend to cover up for each other, and we know what we saw that happened there. So I mean, I'm just letting you all know that about the things that happen in small towns and people just try to laugh it off. But in this town, I've seen fights at HEB, arguments at HEB. I've seen a lot of things that happen at HEB because that's the only place where you're going to catch somebody at different times of the day. It's hard to go higher up, Yaya, because we needed to cool off first. And of course, we're a family, so what did we do? Our other sister went and bought a rotisserie chicken, and we got some of the grapes that they gave us last night, cut them up. Ofelia had bought some pecans, and we made a rotisserie chicken salad with pecans and grapes in it, and tostadas that Ofelia made. And we sat at the table and we ate and laughed about it to cool ourselves off about what had happened. But for me, I'm bringing awareness to everybody. When somebody is told that there's a food drive being given by the county for every resident of the county, don't be just taking pictures of my sister because she's on social media and then lie about it. If you want to be told chingas a la puta que te parió, then keep doing it. Because I'll even send the police chief a chingar a la puta que lo parió. I can talk like that too. It's like, kid alive, this was purposely done because that person did not come into the scene until Ofelia got to that table. And that's the part that I noticed, and that's the part that I'm bringing to awareness. These people called the office. Nobody there was saying anything until that person showed up to tell Ofelia she was not going to get any food pantry items because she was being disruptive. And Ophelia has not worked. Ophelia has not made any money on YouTube because she has chosen to stay off of social media for a while. And then she gets on a food pantry drive that everybody in Willacy County could have gotten on. And somebody that was on that line was being messy and lying. I see you. Well, she did go and make a report at the police department because I told her they're gonna twist it on you, so you better go and make the police report. And for them to just post out on Facebook, come to Lyford and get all the food that was left over in Willacy County and Raymondville. Come to Lyford, Willacy County, and get it. Bring your own bags. I didn't get the lady's name that was telling Ophelia that she was the boss. I didn't get it. And it doesn't, it bothers me, but knowing the kind of trailer park trash that we have in this community, in those offices, no, I'm not going to let it harden me. I'm going to let it slide. I have duck back sealer on me and it's going to slide off. But I'm going to go on my platform and say, you are trailer trash. My sister did not do that. She was being a well-behaved person up until the end, cuando los mandó a chingar su madre because they already had gotten on her nerves. Hi, Cookie Lion. And I'm not saying, I'm still going to wake up and smile at the world and say, hey, you know what? ¿Sabes con qué tapé mi cafecito? Lo tapé con una nutty buddy ahorita. 7:30 in the morning was too early for me to drink coffee. And I hadn't drank coffee all day, so I was starting to get a headache. So I just made me a coffee and I was sitting here eating my nutty buddy and thinking about what these bitches did today at that food drive just because they want to hate on Ophelia. Annette, I always tell people, el que me mantiene a mí es dueño de todo, de todo. Before we got on that line last night, RJ had already blessed us. And I was like telling Ophelia, man, the apples that we got from RJ were better than the apples that we got from Willacy County. I can show you. Look at the apples that we got from RJ. I mean, there's only 5 apples in this bag. So I'm guessing that each apple is more than half a pound. Okay? So those are the ones that we got. And these are the apples that we got from Willacy County. There's more apples in the bag. Why? Because the apples are smaller. And they're also very bruised because these people were just throwing the food. They didn't care. They were just throwing it and they didn't care if they were bruising the fruit or not. And I have those separated because Ophelia was kind of offended and she was quiet, but I had gone in Ophelia's car and we had put our other sister and my stuff in Ophelia's car. So she took everything off. We took everything off and Ophelia left and without saying anything, she left. And it's like, to literally be embarrassed that way in front of a whole bunch of people and you're actually not doing nothing y te la estás comiendo because you don't want to say anything to these people. It's like That was kind of a hard pill for Ophelia to swallow. And this one is being a hard pill too, because I'm literally telling everybody what happened here in Willacy County today during a food drive. That shouldn't have happened because somebody was filming Ophelia talking to people. Ophelia was sitting at the table talking to that lady and me. We were having a nice conversation. She had been talking to that man for more than 40 minutes. This line didn't get moving until 10 in the morning. We were there from 7:30, people. And then he wants to have the audacity when Ophelia gets to the table to say that she wasn't there at 7:30. Nobody was cutting in the line. Nobody was cutting anywhere in that line. Ophelia's car and me and Ophelia were there from 7:30 in the morning. So, of course, when he told Ophelia that she had not been in the line, Ophelia went off on him. But that was ya cuando nos íbamos a ir, after we were already getting ready to leave. So you're going to fucking win the conversation by saying that we were not in the line when we were in the line from 7:30 in the morning. There was nobody cutting in between the cars. That's why the line starts all the time on these food drives at 2 in the morning the day before. You know, if people could get on that line at midnight, they're going to do it because they want to get in the line and just drive and get what they're going to get and get out of there. But somebody had been on the line watching Ophelia and filming her and taking pictures of her. And then they decided to call the food bank and say that Ophelia was being disrupted when that was not the truth. You know. Yeah, I'll be over there in a little bit, Ophelia. I'm just going to finish this live. I just wanted everybody to know that that did happen during a live pantry giveaway here in Willacy County. Somebody took pictures of Ophelia. There was no police protection there. Ophelia could have been shot. And somebody called the food bank office to report Ophelia for being disruptive on the line when it was a lie. Ophelia's car had been parked in the line with me and Ophelia there from 7:30 in the morning, and the employee that was sitting there writing everybody's names had the audacity, after he had talked to Ophelia for more than 40 minutes, to say that that was not true. Because I heard that part. I was standing right there in front of him. So a lot of times when we don't ask for stuff or we don't go to these kind of public pantry giveaway stuff, is because we have to deal with trailer park trash in this community. And just so you all know, I'm sharing this to the Willacy County Watch Posse page so that they can see what happened today. And there was a lot of food left over. There's pictures on Facebook of somebody saying, if you want free pantry food, come to Lyford, to the Lyford office to get it. Bring your own bags. But somebody lied about my sister, and my sister was told by somebody in that office that got there just when Ophelia got to the table that she was not going to be given anything. But Ophelia has sisters and brothers that were there. Ophelia's still going to get stuff. And honestly, I can tell them how royal my Mexican ass is and how far down the Aztec line I go. The police department doesn't like for me to say that the police chief and all his little croonies are just there picking their pelotas and getting a paycheck and not protecting anybody. It's true. Too bad. Come and talk to me. You know where I live. My name is Angie Gongora. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here and allowing me into your space and your afternoon.